Hey guys, I'm Sean.
And I'm Jim. And if you get confused, just look in that bottom left-hand corner of our pictures.
Absolutely. Well, this was my week to pick what we cooked. And I decided that we'd make rice bowls. Something that is old hat for me. I make them pretty frequently. I don't think that Jim had ever made a rice bowl before this time. And
Well,
so,
not usually. No, for me, rice is normally a side dish.
right. Whereas in this case, the rice is actually the main dish with the toppings being considered the sides.
But I'm pretty certain that you picked it because you wanted to show off your wok skills and become a favorite nephew of Uncle Roger.
No, in this case, I actually didn't use my wok.
That is a surprise.
It is. I did use some. I did use my carbon steel pan, but it wasn't my wok. Now I could have done my broccolini in a wok, and hindsight being 2020, maybe I should have. But it ended up being the same. I mean, I was just sautéing, so I used a saute pan.
Well, I figured you picked a rice bowl because you have me at a severe disadvantage because I don't have a wok, and you also know that if I buy another pan, my wife Val has threatened to hit me over the head with it.
Well, that was one of the reasons I didn't use my wok. Was because I didn't want to make it unfair or any more unfair than it already would have been with our differences and experiences in the style of food being cooked. Right. I cook a lot of Asian food at home.
Well,
I have a drawer full of different, ingredients that are used in more traditional Asian food. Things like galangal, sambal, sesame oil, things like that are in my cabinet. Daily.
Well, being a veteran,
So,
I know how to adapt and overcome.
but yeah, I did not reach for my wok, although I own two woks, and so Uncle Roger would call me a wok fuckboy.
Well, let's see what you did without the wok.
Let's see what I did. Not sure what Jim is making, but I am making a surf and turf rice bowl with scallions, ribeye steak, and some shrimp. We're gonna do some fried shrimp, and we're gonna do some soy egg yolks in there as well to kind of bring everything together. So right now we're getting.
If you got the budget for that, you can gift me with a wok.
What's that?
If you got the budget for that, you can gift me with a wok.
The budget for what?
For using shrimp and ribeye steak in a rice bowl. I mean, no, Val has already confirmed that if somebody gifts me with a pan, she won't hit me with it. It's only if I buy a pan she's going to hit me with it.
Through washing this rice, I forgot I had to record.
Whoa!
I was just kind of cooking for me.
What kind of rice?
That is a short grain rice.
Okay, I was going to say, because you're using it jasmine like I did, you don't need to wash it. In fact, the packaging on all the packages, as I said, don't rinse jasmine rice.
No, that's a short grain sushi rice that I'm using.
Oh, okay.
That's the kind of rice that I like. I like that the best.
Okay.
And for a lot of things, I use short grain sushi rice.
Okay.
So we're cooking for 3.
That's more of a risotto, but okay.
Cleaned up till it runs clear.
So that's actually a point that I was making in the text, but I don't think you heard it because I think we're talking over it. In risotto, you leave the starch in. I don't know if you knew that or not, or if you've made risotto before.
I have.
Yeah. You keep your starch for risotto. You don't wash the rice for risotto because that's what binds it. That's what binds your risotto together is that starch.
So why bother with a short grain rice for a rice bowl when you actually want a long grain?
I just like the texture better. It was a personal choice. It's a personal preference. So.
Okay.
So I went with.
What that white is the starch leaving. For some dishes, you want that
flavor.
starch.
The flavor.
But With most Asian cooking, you typically want to get it out of there. All right, looks like we got this about clear.
By the way, there's almost no Asian dish that you keep the starch for. You rinse it out almost always.
When you make for sushi, you want that starch in there. That's the whole point of it.
No.
Okay.
We're gonna do the finger check here. The
Okay.
first knuckle is good, and we're gonna get this popped into our rice cooker.
I meant to cut that out. Whoops.
Just press
That looks like a lot of
rice.
water for that. But
Now
okay.
wait. All right, guys. So
There wasn't a lot of
the
what?
next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead.
Looks
and
like a lot of water,
broccoli
but okay.
prepped. We're gonna do this by just kind of cutting off some of the ends. I don't want quite all that much of it on the end there. And then we're gonna get this in our pan here.
Oh wow, you're leaving that big.
It's gonna wilt some, remember?
And I'm actually going to
True.
saute these in butter and some herbs. Salt.
Damn.
What?
I'm waiting for that butter to melt.
That was MSG that I sprinkled in there, by the way.
Just getting some
Yeah.
powder in there.
That's onion powder.
Just moving around here.
Right. No, those pieces just seem big. I'm used to having bite-sized pieces.
One of the worst
In the
things you
rice
can have
bowl.
is unseasoned broccolini,
So, see, you know, I'm
Just
terrible
steamed
with
broccoli,
chopsticks.
which is
I can
fine,
still manage.
but flavor-wise, pretty boring.
That was just me lamenting how boring broccoli, unseasoned broccoli is. Just steamed broccoli, it's boring. Tastes fine, but it's boring.
Yeah, although
Okay,
I
guys,
like to mix it with a
Next thing
nice,
we're
or
gonna
pair
do
it with
is
a
we're
nice
gonna get
cheese
our
sauce.
Green onions kind of prepped for
Well,
our
it's no
rice bowl.
longer plain at
All
that
waiting
point,
on
is
our
it?
fryer to finish coming up to temp.
Right. Now I don't feel so bad about my knife skills coming up.
That's about all we want.
What do you mean?
We're just going to use the green half.
You
for
weren't,
this.
you didn't curl your fingers either that much.
No, not much. I was having a hard time keeping a grip on those
All
for
right,
some
we're
reason.
getting started with our steak now, and we're just going to put salt on this before we cook it.
Yeah, you're definitely
The reason
taking
we're not
an
putting pepper in
entirely
is
different approach
We are
than what I
just
thought
searing
you
this
would.
steak, and pepper
I
will
was
burn
certainly to do a stir fry.
and get very, very bitter. So we're just going to give this a nice salt down, and we're going to get it straight on the grill. Now we had an option. We could have salt brined this overnight, but we forgot. What you don't want to do is salt it
Oh,
10, 15, 20 minutes, even an hour beforehand, because what will happen is it'll pull that
Oh.
moisture out, and you'll end up with soggy crust. You won't be able to develop that nice kind of barky exterior on your steak, and it'll suck, honestly. So,
you're gonna try. Okay,
yeah,
so you
we're salting
went
it immediately beforehand because we didn't get a chance to do it overnight. That's
So,
the other option. You can either salt
so
it
you
right
went
before
for
you cook
cooking the
it.
steak and
or
then
the day
slicing
before.
it down.
Anything in between ends up with a worse steak.
Yes. Did you hear what I said? By the way, that's really important. So when you
Right.
cook a steak, you have two options on when you can salt it. You can salt it the day before or immediately before it goes on the grill. Anything in between that, you have a risk of drawing water out to the exterior of
Right.
the meat,
And
and then
not
you end
letting
up-
it soak back in.
and then you have this wet exterior of your steak, which does not bode well for your bark. So you can either salt immediately before it goes onto the griddle or skillet, or you can salt the day before and let it actually dry out. But you
Or-
cannot salt an hour before.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I always salt
You know.
I always brine my steak overnight. But
I usually do too. I forgot. Yes, I forgot Sunday though. I forgot.
No,
and
the
so
thing I'm surprised by is that you're cooking the steak whole and then trying to slice it down rather than like popping it in the freezer for 10, 15 minutes and slicing it down thin, then just giving it a quick sear, either on a griddle like you're doing or in a wok like what I expected.
yeah, so what I did preserved our ability to eat the steak medium rare in the rice bowl.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I said that so far you're catching me completely off guard with your technique.
We got a beautiful sear on that. And now we just wait for it to cook on the other side, and we can start plating things up. In the meantime, our oil is almost at the temp, so in a minute or two here, we'll be able to drop our shrimp down.
Definitely caught me completely off guard.
That was the idea.
And I think I'm going to catch you off guard too.
All right, guys, so we're getting our panko shrimp into the oil here.
Oh, wow!
And these won't take
Deep
long.
frying the shrimp.
Shrimp will take a couple minutes to cook off.
I see what you mean about Chris and his
Everybody
camera work.
overcooks their shrimp.
Yeah, it's
And
really
they wonder why they have the consistency
really
of rubber
paltry.
balls.
I wish we could have had Chris in here for this.
A little time lapse on the adding of the shrimp to the basket there.
Chris might be a fantastic chef, but he's not a
See, look,
cameraman.
they're already almost done.
No.
That fast.
Tell Alice I like her camera
Meanwhile,
work
over
better
here
than
we have the
Chris's.
steak,
Oh, believe me, I told her. She knows.
and we're going to go ahead and pull that off and get it sat down next to our scallions to rest for a minute here. Very important that you rest your beef, guys.
Yes, it
Rest your
is.
beef. All right, guys, and we're going to go ahead and start getting
Even on Valentine's Day, rest your beef.
Well, rest of the day after Valentine's Day.
First layer is our rice.
Now, one of the things the camera missed is that I did season this rice with sesame oil.
Right?
Next we go for our broccolini.
Actually, I thought about sesame oil in my dish, but
greenery in
I
there.
went elsewhere, as you'll see.
Scallions on the opposite side. Got to break up those colors. A few shrimp.
And there's going to be a cut here between me putting this in and me putting the steak in and the egg in. And that's when I put the oil in, because there's no oil in it yet.
And we're ready to go ahead.
There's no sesame oil just yet.
Cut our steak.
Yeah.
But now there's oil in it and the steak as well.
He likes it a little. He likes the meat a little rarer than the other two.
Is that just an egg yolk?
I like medium rare, but that's
It is a soy egg.
Oh, okay.
so.
It's about an 8 hour, 6 to 8 hour one. The longer that they stay in, the more the stronger the flavors develop on those. This one's a pretty short.
You like that? Nice.
And that was intentional because the longer you have the egg in the soy sauce and mirin mixture, the denser that flavor gets. And there's already a lot going on in that bowl. I didn't want the soy egg to just kind of take over. I wanted it to kind of harmonize with everything. So I did a shorter term one.
So was it cooked at all, or just cured in the?
Just cured. Just cured. So it is technically raw.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Doesn't he look happy?
Yeah.
And that's at the end after that's my bowl after I've added some sriracha on.
Yep.
I like mine with sriracha.
I wish Chris could have tasted mine. I think he would have liked it too. But we'll see.
But he looks rather happy in my video, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
All right, let's get into yours here.
Let's see how happy he is after you talk to him about his camera work.
Oh, I told him.
Okay, back up a second. All right, first off, that's the garden I'm always talking about, a hydroponic garden. We have a ton of fresh veggies. In this case, I've got Swiss chard that I'm deveining here. I've already deveined the rest of it. Also, some fresh dill. We have a ton of fresh dill, so I'm always using that. What I'm doing here is just getting ready. I'm going to chop it up fairly fine, a semi-chiffonade, because I'm going to put this in with the rice while it's cooking. Basically, I took the Swiss chard and the dill, put that into a pot with a cup and a half of jasmine rice and 2.5 cups of water. Brought that up to a boil, uncovered. Then when it came to a boil, I just reduced the heat to the barest simmer, covered, and let that cook for 10 minutes like that. I mean, I could have sped through this. I mean, we all know how to chop up herbs and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you do have a garden, it's healthy eating. I say just put that in with a cup and a half of jasmine rice, added the water, and let it come to a boil. I think we all know how to cook rice, and take my word for it, the 2-to-1 ratio of water to rice is not right. The more rice you have, the less water you need.
Yes, that's true. But the less rice you need, as far as the ratio goes, yeah, it can get decreased quite a bit in that situation.
Right.
I agree.
And even in this case, I might have had too much water.
I don't think so. I use the finger method. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I haven't.
So it's mostly used in rice cookers. What you do is you take take your finger and you stick it down and you make sure the water comes up over the rice up to that first knuckle. That's how you measure it.
Okay.
And it's perfect every time.
Yeah. Well, what I'm doing here is just making a quick marinade, some soy sauce. I'm using white wine. I couldn't find mirin at the store, but I
Pinot
Googled
Grigio.
it. White wine works.
Is it a Pinot Grigio?
Yeah.
Okay.
So soy, Pinot Grigio. I've got some orange sauce I'm putting in. I should have used more. It tasted fine like this when I tasted it. Here's a little bit of rice wine vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
Next time I will use more orange sauce, but a very simple marinade.
What is orange? What is orange sauce?
It's just that. It's so far as I know, it's sauce made from oranges. It has a strong orange flavor to it. It's great for orange chicken, orange pork. I mean, it just brings a strong citrus.
Okay, what's that you're putting in now?
A little bit of sugar.
Okay.
Because it didn't have quite the sweetness that I would have gotten if I had mirin. I was going to add some hoisin sauce, but it was so strong. Even the smallest drop would have overpowered everything. So I went with this instead. So it's just 4 ingredients or 5 ingredients, counting the sugar.
What are you marinating?
It worked. You'll see here in a second. I have some shaved steak here.
Okay.
And I'm just going to do a rough cut on it to break it down into bite-sized pieces. And I've got this marinating for just maybe 10 minutes during the time the rice is cooking.
Okay.
It would have been okay to let it go for a couple of hours. It would have been okay to let it go overnight. But this was not to tenderize this beef. That meat was already tender. It's strictly to add some extra flavor to it.
Okay.
So I got that in there, just going to set that aside while I get the rest of the things ready. I mean, while rice is cooking, I'm going to take 20 to 25 minutes to let the rice cook.
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes on simmer, another 10 minutes to rest. here I've got some shredded carrots and a very, very rough cut onion because I want it to be recognizable. And yes, we like onion, as you can see. That's some good medium-sized onion. I don't have a wok, so I use, in this case, a 10-inch saute pan. I should have used my 12-inch. Anyway, I put a half cup of water in that, added the broccoli florets, and I'm going to steam them in this.
So you're steaming the broccoli here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm steaming it here in the saute pan over just medium heat. Adding some salt, of course, to help it cook a little bit better. This took a total of about 6 minutes. Most of that water is going to disappear. At the end, you'll see where I go ahead and take that out. I'm going to drain the broccoli, but you'll see it comes up to a nice bright green, nice bright green color. The rice is done now. It's been cooked for 10 minutes and rested for another 15, just fluffing it up. You can see all of the herbs in there, the dill and the chard. I didn't expect that pink color to it, but I like it.
Yeah, it looks
the
good.
Chard, yeah, it came up really nice. I almost put some MSG in it ahead of time or salted it, but I left it like it was. So that came out good. Now I'm just covering it to keep it warm. Now we're coming back to the broccoli. And at this point, the broccoli is done. You see a nice bright green color, which you look. The water is almost completely gone. I actually put it into a colander and drained the water from the pan because oil and water is not a good thing. The pan is still hot, so I brought the heat up a bit. And I'm using canola oil for this. Add a tablespoon or two in there. As you can see, it's going to start shimmering almost immediately. And now I go for the onions. And by the way, I made a very, very crucial mistake on this. And let's see if you catch it.
I don't see any garlic here.
Exactly. I was going to add garlic, not right now. I was going to wait until this is starting to soften before I put the garlic in, because you know as well as I do, the garlic can burn easily. But I forgot the effing garlic. Thankfully, it didn't matter too much, but I definitely missed it in the final dish. It's just a matter of sauteing this enough to get them to soften up a bit.
Those are some really, really big bits of onion. I don't think I would have wanted them that big myself.
That's what I'm used to seeing in Asian cooking are big pieces of onion.
That's true. There typically is big pieces of onion, but those are big even by those standards.
No, they're about the same. And then in comes the beef. Of course, I did a jump cut there. You don't need to see beef cook.
No.
The broccoli comes back in. Let that warm back up. Just mix it up, and that's basically the dish right there. The beef was already tender because it's so thin. It had all of that flavor in it. I added, well, it doesn't show, I actually I made a slurry with about a tablespoon of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of water that I added to this to help thicken up that sauce. And here comes the final plate, now this is my plate, which was way too big. I made a plate for Val that she loved, that's about half this much food. but you see the chard and dill in there. Rice
My question
nice
is, where's the bowl?
I didn't have a bowl that was a proper size bowl. I have small soup bowls and I have plates. So
I'm just
I put
teasing
it
you,
in
Jim. I'm just picking on you, man.
up yours, asshole. But I'm certain you get called an asshole at least 2 or 3 times a day. And just, let's say, plating up.
Depends on the company I'm keeping.
I can't imagine any company you would keep that wouldn't say that. No, but
Oh,
I
that
was
looks
really happy.
good.
I was happy how it turned out. I was happy with the broccoli. It still had a little bit of a crunch, but not too much. The onions still had a bit of a crunch.
I will say that that the one thing that that I would critique on your dish, and feel free to critique mine too.
Oh,
I
of course.
don't know if you. I mean, I know you don't like my rice choice, but that's personal preference. That's not really a technical error.
Well, like I said, I was really happy with how mine turned out, considering I'm not used to stir frying. I don't have a wok, but I think I made do with my saute pan pretty well.
The wok would have really helped you get some of the Maillard effect on your beef there, because there was absolutely no browning on your beef,
right?
Which is a technical error, but other than that, it looked really good. And the lack of garlic.
Yeah, the garlic is what pissed me off.
The garlic and lack of browning on the beef are the only two things that I can point at and go, oh, you know.
Yeah, but the browning on the beef, even that wasn't too bad. Like I said, with it marinating for the 15, 20 minutes, I didn't expect to get a Maillard effect on it.
So the way you could have created that process, if you wanted it, was you could have drained it and then seared it and then re-added the marinade afterwards.
Well, actually, I didn't need. Okay, if I hadn't put the extra oil in when I added the beef to the saute pan, that would have helped. But I didn't want the beef to stick to the pan.
It was a stainless steel pan, right?
Yeah.
Then it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered then, because when you added your marinade back in, that would have deglazed the pan for you. It would have lifted it all back up off. So you'd have got your Maillard effect for free. Yeah. But that's the only real critique I have. That and the lack of garlic.
Yeah. Now, in terms of flavor, I was surprised. First off, that Val liked it so much, because she's not a big fan of rice. Mm-hmm. But she was saying that its flavors is actually complex. And when I think back on that sauce, the soy, the rice wine vinegar, the white wine, and the orange sauce, that's checking off most of the boxes, plus the sugar. And then when that mixes with everything. When that mixes with your rice that had the dill and Swiss chard in it, that is another layer altogether. Yeah. Now, I've made herb rice many. I mean, it's been a go-to for me to use dill and lemon pepper and herb rice. But now that we got that garden, I have to find ways to use all those veggies.
Fair enough.
But if I make this a couple more times, I think I'm willing to risk buying a wok.
All right. Do you guys want to see a quick blooper file here?
Oh, and by the way, Roger, you're an asshole for wanting to see Val hit me over the head with a pan.
Look at this camera work, guys.
All right, guys. So we got our eggs beaten up off camera. We went ahead and floured up.
Love you, Chris.
No, he doesn't. Not after this. But Chris, I think you would have liked my dish just as much as Sean's.
Here we go. Here we go for the look back to nothing. Here's the look back to nothing. So this is why the video is missing my entire breading portion.
Shrimp is straight, or if it curls.
Well, at least you came in at 7 minutes where I had to go 10 minutes.
Yeah, No, it was I think it was a good video. But yeah, I mean, we would have included the breading of my shrimp, where I was talking all about how you get the effect that that you see in restaurants with like shrimp tempura, where the actual shrimp is straight. I was talking about how to create that effect and why you don't usually get it at home and things like that, and what you can do to make it happen, and all that other stuff.
Toothpicks are your friend.
Toothpicks can be your friend, but typically it's actually relief cuts.
Yeah.
So instead, but toothpicks will do it not as well as relief cuts, though. Relief cuts do it better because the coating fills in the gaps that show up from the relief cuts.
Okay, so folks, please hit that like and subscribe. Help
Yes,
Sean's
please.
help Sean's retirement fund. Help my retirement fund. Because I should be retired. And also, give us ideas for what you want to see. We do
Absolutely.
take requests.
Absolutely. Last week, the chicken carbonara was actually a request. So we'll typically get things quick if we know a fan wants to see it.
Yeah. Next week, I don't know, Sean. I'm actually, I think I do want to go with the cube steak. I've already promised Val it won't be chicken fried steak because she's not a big fan of chicken fried steak.
Okay.
I know that you like chicken fried steak.
I do.
And you would expect me to make one, but I've already told Val that it's not going to be chicken fried steak because we do cube steak.
Okay.
Oh, talk about it. When I saw at the store today, when I picked up the meat for tomorrow, they had cube steak cut up into stew meat chunks.
What?
Yeah, I was really tempted to get that for my barley beef soup I'm going to make.
At that point, you may as well just use ground beef. That's what it is at that point. I mean,
no, it's not. I mean, it actually holds together. I mean, first off, I hate ground beef. I really do. I do not use ground beef. I don't know what it is. The texture with my teeth, as some of you have noticed, it doesn't agree.
Yeah, I like to call them old snaggletooth sometimes.
Fuck you. No,
Just kidding, guys.
just to be clear.
Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this, if you want to see more, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, later.
Asta.